Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into something pretty fascinating, I think, the really complex world of English tongue twisters.
Yeah, they're genuinely remarkable. They seem like just fun, maybe silly word games on the surface.
Right.
But when you actually dig into where they come from, their origins, and how they're used, everything from kids' books to really technical stuff, they're revealed as these incredibly precise linguistic tools, performance tools even.
That's exactly what we want to explore today, sort of the mission, if you like.
Yeah.
How do we get from a simple rhyme you learn as a kid to something found in a programming manual? What's the connection?
It's about understanding what makes them work, why they trip us up so consistently. It's often very deliberate.
Okay, so where do we start? The most obvious one, I guess.
Yeah, let's start with the absolute classic, Peter Piper.
Can't avoid it.
Yeah.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that bit.
Right, it's that P sound
Yeah.
over and over. But the full versions you sometimes see, they really push the endurance aspect, don't they? It's about sustaining it.
Yeah. Exactly. It's not just saying it once. And speaking of endurance, what about the woodchuck chuck one?
Ah, yes. The question is famous, but the full response that's cited in our sources, that's a proper workout.
It really is. How much wood could Chuck Wood's woodchuck chuck if Chuck Wood's woodchuck could and woodchuck would? Okay, easy enough maybe.
But then the answer keeps going. Chuck Woods is woodchuck. He would as much as he could. And it continues. It just drills those W and C sounds relentlessly.
So the takeaway there is it's not just the alliteration. It's rhythm, it's muscle memory, it's keeping it going.
Precisely. But then where do they actually come from? Because you mentioned kids' books, but the sources show them popping up all over pop culture.
That's a great question. We sort of assume they're ancient folklore, maybe. Anonymous things passed down.
Some might be, but many have really specific authors or sources. Children's literature is definitely a big one. Dr. Seuss, for instance, he was a master of intentional phonetic chaos.
Oh, absolutely. Like that one about Luke Luck and his duck. I find that one particularly brutal.
Luke Luck likes lakes. Luke's duck likes lakes. Okay.
Yeah. Luke Luck licks lakes. Luck's duck licks lakes. The lakes. It's vicious.
It is. It's the combination of the L and the hard K, forcing your tongue to do gymnastics, really. And the words are so similar, there's almost no mental hook. It just trips you up. Pure muscle memory failure.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
And it's not just older stuff. Conics, too. I was actually surprised to see the Calvin and Hobbes one in the stack.
The Mongol hordes one?
Yeah.
Yeah. How many boards could the Mongols hoard if the Mongol hordes got bored? It's got that dark humor, but it's definitely a twister.
And then there's the Far Side one. Completely absurd.
You cuss, I cuss, we all cuss for asparagus.
Right. It shows that sometimes it's just about, messing with your head through rhythm and weird semantic connections.
Mm.
Or non-connections, I guess.
Exactly. It's playing with sound and expectation.
Okay, so moving maybe slightly more highbrow, theater. These things function as real diction tests there, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. Take W.S. Gilbert's The Mikado. There's that long description of the prisoner.
To sit in solemn silence in a dull, dark dock.
In a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock. Yes, that one. It sounds very solemn, very serious.
But the purpose is technical.
Completely. It forces the actor to hit those hard stops, dull, dark dock, and the softer sounds, all while keeping the steady, dramatic rhythm. It's practice.
And for pure, complex articulation and performance,
Yeah.
you have to mention The Court Jester, the 1955 film.
Oh, definitely. The whole sequence with the Doge, the Duke, and the Duchess, it's legendary.
It's built almost entirely on that D sound, right? That quick tap of the tongue just behind the teeth.
Exactly, the alveolar stop. And doing it repeatedly, fast, just changing the vowel, Doge, Duke, Duchess. It's incredibly taxing on those muscles.
You can feel it just trying to say it slowly. When the Doge did his duty and the Duke didn't, that's when the Duchess did the dirt to the Duke with the Doge. And then you have the other related bits in that scene, the pellet with the poison, vessel with the pestle variations. Same principle. It's just layers of complexity. And moving to more modern film, the sources point to V's speech in V for Vendetta.
Yes. That's an exercise in V sounds. Labiodental fricatives, just an overload of them.
This visage, no mere veneer of vanity, is a vestige of the vox populi now vacant, vanished.
The screenwriter packed it deliberately. It makes the speech sound unique, sure, but it's also just inherently difficult to say clearly and quickly.
Which brings us nicely into the next section, doesn't it? The sort of linguistic engineering behind them. Why are they so hard?
Yes, the linguistic labors. Because they're often not random sounds clumped together, they target specific phonetic weaknesses.
Like S sounds, sibilants.
Exactly. S and she require very fine control of airflow. So, the classic, Sally sells seashells on the seashore, tests that rapid shift between S and sh.
And it gets harder, right? Like 6 sleek swans swam swiftly southwards.
That one forces the tongue tip to stay tense and precise through the whole phrase. Repetition makes it harder.
But the ultimate boss level for sibilants, for me anyway, it's got to be six sheep, 6 sheep.
Oh, that's a nightmare, linguistically speaking.
It is.
It makes you flip between I's and sh and change the vowel sound inside E versus E. The tiniest slip in tongue placement or airflow, and it just turns to mush. It's built to fail.
A precision instrument for diction failure. I like that. Okay, what about other problem sounds? The thee.
Ah, the challenge. Very common difficulty for learners whose first language doesn't have that sound, that dental fricative.
So you get these marathon phrases.
Like, the 33 thieves thought that they thrilled the throne throughout Thursday.
It just forces that tongue tip movement out, back repeatedly.
Or that truly epic one, thrifty Theophilus.
Right.
Thrusts 3,000 thistles through the slick thick of his softly throbbing thumb.
Just saying, it feels like a workout for the tongue.
It sounds exhausting.
And this points to something really key that comes up in the sources. These aren't just abstract challenges. They're often used as like linguistic shortcuts, training tools, specifically for language learners. Tailored drills.
Exactly. The sources mention twisters designed to help, say, Korean students distinguish F and P. That can be tricky.
F versus P.
Okay, so you get a phrase like, we need a plan to fan a pan. Find a pan to fan, then find a fan to fan the pan, then fan the pan. It's dense, but it drills that specific lip teeth versus lips-only movement very efficiently.
Instead of hours of just practicing fu-poo sounds in isolation.
Right. And similarly for Japanese learners, the RL distinction, Ralph rakes leaves really, really lousily.
Wow. So they're not just games at all, are they? They're functional, almost clinical.
Functional literature in a way. Which leads us to the next point, these unexpected applications. If they're designed to be difficult, who's using them professionally?
Well, the obvious ones are actors, singers, anyone needing vocal precision, vocal warm-ups.
Definitely. The sources mention these really long, complex articulation tests. One includes mimicking hiccuping and amicably welcoming him in. It's designed to hit every part of the vocal mechanism.
And radio announcers, too. There was that specific example from the 40s.
Yes. A 1948 diction test. Something about baking powder and biscuits. You had to read it perfectly, no mistakes, in under 20 seconds. Talk about pressure.
Wow. Precision under pressure. Okay, so that's the sound mechanics. But what about the ones that mess with your brain? The logic ones.
Ah, the semantic confusion ones. Those are fun. They loop back on themselves.
Like the understand one.
That's the one. If you understand, say understand. If you don't understand, say don't understand. Okay, simple start.
But if you understand and say don't understand, how do I understand that you understand? Understand.
It just ties your brain in knots. It's auditory and mental confusion.
But the deepest logic puzzle, strangely enough, comes from computer programming. That feels completely counterintuitive.
It does seem like the opposite of poetry, doesn't it? But there's this amazing example from an old language, PLI.
The if, then one.
Yeah. If, then, else if you. It looks like nonsense, like Gertrude Stein wrote some code.
So what's actually happening there?
Well, in that specific language, PLI, you could use the keywords, the commands like if, then, else, as variable names.
Wait, really? So if could be a command and a variable called if?
Exactly. So that line is actually a perfectly valid piece of code. It's assigning the value of a variable named then to a variable named if, and the value of else to then, and if back to ls.
That's a nightmare. The difficulty isn't saying the words, it's figuring out what on earth it means.
Precisely. It's a technical twister built on ambiguity specific to that system. Imagine trying to debug that.
Incredible. Okay, let's get into the really specific, maybe unusual ones. The sources show some are tied to actual places, right?
Yeah, hyper-local ones, like the one about the Scottish police. The Leith police dismisseth thus.
Based near Edinburgh.
Right. It becomes almost an insider phrase, playing on local accents, maybe local stereotypes about authority, a linguistic fingerprint of a place.
And the English one from My Fair Lady, about the dropped H's.
Oh, yes. In Erford, and Ayrshire, hurricanes hardly ever happen. that's explicitly designed as training, how to perform that specific feature of the Cockney accent correctly.
So they're like keys to cultural or accent understanding
They
sometimes?
can be, but then you swing to the other extreme,
Uh-huh.
the super technical, stuff buried in manuals.
Like a singly circularly linked list.
Exactly, or pipe type byte, apparently from a Visual C++ help file. These are articulation tests purely for developers dealing with those specific terms. Very niche.
And just to wrap up this section, there are those ones that are just weirdly memorable, absurd.
Like the food one, the joke that's also a twister.
Yeah. What do you have for breakfast? Rubber balls and liquor. What do you have for lunch? Rubber balls and liquor.
It's just the repetition and the sheer unexpectedness of the rhyme, right? It
Wow.
sticks in your head, but it's hard to rattle off quickly.
It really underscores the range, doesn't it? Technical manuals, nursery rhymes, jokes,
Yeah,
they all use this same principle.
they really do. It's this fascinating intersection of like performance art, logic, and language diagnostics.
Okay, so let's try and synthesize this.
Right.
What's the big takeaway from this deep dive? It seems clear they're way more than just random phrases.
Definitely. I think the core thing is that tongue twisters are sophisticated linguistic tools, often deliberately designed. They test the physical limits of how we speak.
Targeting those really tricky bits, like rapid transitions between similar sounds.
Right, and because they're so specialized for that, they show up in the most surprising contexts. Dr. Seuss, yes, but also data structures, theater warm-ups. It shows this incredible breadth of where precise articulation actually matters.
They're efficient ways to challenge our speech and expose where we might fail.
Exactly. Designed to induce failure in a controlled way.
So, for our final thought, something provocative for you to consider. Let's go back to those twisters where meaning gets tangled up, like that complex one about the doctors.
Ah, the doctoring one. That's a good one to end on.
When a doctor's a doctor, does the doctor doing the doctor as the doctor being doctored wants to be doctored?
Or does the doctor doing the doctoring doctor as he wants to doctor?
Yeah. The actual meaning there, it's a complex question about patient preference versus professional judgment.
It is, but you barely register it because you're so focused on just saying the word doctor over and over without tripping.
Exactly. The form completely swamps the content. So the question is, when the words themselves are the main challenge, how much does the underlying intention or the meaning even matter anymore?
Does the form become the only function in that moment?
Yeah. Something to think about next time you find yourself trying to sell seashells by the seashore. Or dealing with a vessel with a pestle, perhaps.